spill the beans. Ikigai.
Yeah, sure. I think, as you said, it comes from the Japanese culture. Specifically, I think the Okinawan Japanese, who are, they have like the most fulfilled, content lives, and actually live. They're part of a blue zone, which is basically an area, like 5 blue zones around the world where people live up to 100 years
Wow.
on average. Like they're the highest population of people that live up to 100 years, average years. Yeah, so that's where it became popularized from the concept. So basically, Ikigai is a Japanese concept of developing purpose. It's a framework. So Iki means life and Gai means worth or value. So when you combine it, it just translates to reason for being. So how they break it into is it's like a Venn diagram of like 4 circles. Hopefully we can show it to them. And it's like the intersection of those 4 components. And the 4 components are the first one being your passion. So what you love doing, what gives you a sense of fulfillment and joy, what feels like play to you. Then the second one is your vocation. So like what skills you're good at. So the best way to think about it is like, what do people come to you for? Like, is it tech knowledge, or is it like financial advice, or whatever it is? What do people come to you for? And what knowledge and skills do you possess? Then the third one is your mission. So what does the world need and how do you fill that gap? So emphasizing your contribution to the world. And then the last one is the byproduct of all of those things, which is your reward. What can you be paid for so that you can sustain yourself? So that's what Ikigai as a framework is.
Well said. That's a really good summary of that. And I think if you look at purpose as a whole, those 4 points touch it really well. It sort of makes, if you you've got purpose, if you talk about purpose as the core concept, beyond that, if you go another layer down to understand what is actually purpose, I think those 4 things are just nail it so well that this is the 4 things you need to actually meet your Ikigai or find your Ikigai, which is purpose. That's it takes time to find out what you're good at. And I think that also touches on experiences. Just to, not to go off topic too much, but to find what you're good at and go through the experiences, you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone, is what I've learned from my experience. You're not going to learn what you're good at, learn what you're not good at, if you don't actually put yourself through it. So for example, I've found that simply just 50% of doing is just the willingness to do it. Does that make sense? In your mindset, what I mean by that, in your mindset, if you straight away just say, I'm going to do it, you've done 50% of the work. Because your mindset and your energy you're putting towards it, you know you can do it and you're capable of doing it. Or let's say if you're not capable of doing it, you still want to do it for the sake of learning from it. So I think the mindset about just putting your mind towards doing it and that push is 50% of your work done. The other 50% is actually doing the work, which comes from proper planning, for example, having the right mindset, having the right resources, having the right people around you to guide you through it. But you won't ever find what you're good at is if you don't actually try to do something. You know, like if you want to learn coding, for example, you can either procrastinate and say, I'll do it. Or you can actually put yourself out of your comfort zone and say, I'm going to just learn 20 minutes of this. And if you just in your mind say, I'm going to do it, you've done 50% of the work in terms of getting to that point. Then you spend 10, 15 minutes just doing some research and you've done something to show for.